heaven told. It's the only way that you can travel down that road. Satisfied, on heaven told. Baby, won't you ride until it's through?
Trollord Games. Join the fray.
Bazinga!
Are we live? Is that what Zinga was? We are live. And joining me today is Davis Chenault. dressed as only Davis would dress. You know, Kathy's going to kill you one of these days.
Yeah. I look at I want to dress like a 1920s dude.
They were dapper.
You're already halfway there. Just put something over that
That's
white.
right.
I want to dress like a 1920s dude that's unemployed and a potato farmer.
Even the unemployed potato farmers were dapper. Well, I'm Stephen Chenault. This is Tuesday, June 4th, 2024, and this is Ask Me Anything. And Davis is joining us today for rambling discourse about the Lord only knows what.
See that?
I did. Someone posted that on my Facebook.
Oh.
The Pepsi. I need to let Zay know Pepsi sucks.
Dr. Pepper is number 2. Coke will always be number 1 because they spend almost $1 billion a year in advertising.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But
They're
it's
not gonna
no
let nobody.
good.
Do you know what the number one Coke product is though?
Socks.
Coke Zero.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm.
Question: which language to learn first, Latin or Classical Greek? My goal is to read some of the classics without an English translation. I'd go with Latin, I think, first. I think I would dive into that first.
Oh yeah.
Greek has a different alphabet, so or a slightly different alphabet. So it's going to be a little bit tougher, I think. Mountain Dew. The only good thing from Pepsi Company is Mountain Dew.
By the classics, what do you mean the classics though? I mean,
I'm sure he's talking about Tacitus and whoever.
yeah, because you got the
Beowulf. I don't know. Not Beowulf.
yeah. I mean, I guess Herodotus would be.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess that would be ancient Greek. The plays, Agamemnon.
Yeah, yeah.
I look at this stuff. I don't know.
I don't know. Start at the beginning. Don't. No. Not Latin and not.
Here we
Greek.
go.
No.
Aramaic.
Yes. Start at the very beginning. What's the Sumerian language? What's it
Oh
called?
yeah, there you go. You got Sumerians, the Phoenicians, the Hittites, the Assyrians.
Yeah, and you can read the Epic of Gilgamesh.
Oh, that's right. I was about to say, do we have any
Yeah.
Hittite language, any books from the Hittite period?
There's inscriptions and stuff like that. There's enough that you can read it, and they've reconstituted a lot of the language. And there's a guy on TikTok who does really good TikToks on it as well. But I think that
Sanskrit. Malaki says Sanskrit.
if I were young and starting over like again, and I had that option, I would choose the oldest known language that I could pick from a root language.
Still have that option. What are you talking about? You learn.
Yeah, but I've grown progressively lazier and lazier and lazier.
What did I can't remember what Pete said. We said something about investing in something, and he was like, "I have been taken over by sloth," and he wandered off. So there you go.
There's a discussion going on whether it should be Gaelic now or folks at YouTube are talking about Gaelic.
Gaelic would be an interesting language because it's very different. There's so many consonants in Gaelic. I don't think I can do it.
King Kothar says, if you learn to read Futhark, you can read a whole bunch of monuments that say who paid to put this rock here. All right, we got another question if you're ready to get hit with it.
Fire. What do we got?
Now that the Amazing Adventures PHB is getting into circulation, how far behind is the Chronicles?
The what?
The Chronicles.
I think that's what they used to call it. Maybe he's at. I'm not sure how it used to be called, but maybe. Are you asking about Sweep? Are you asking about the Chronicle Keeper's Guide, CKG? Maybe.
Oh, the CKG.
Which is going to be interesting when we start using.
Was the question about Amazing Adventures Player's Handbook?
Yes. Now that it's getting into circulation, where are we at with?
Yes. So the Castle Keeper's Guide for Amazing Adventures is laid out, and we've put the first run of art through it. I wasn't very happy with it. So Peter and I are readdressing the second run of art with that. But it's laid out. It's through editing the whole 9 yards. It'll be right behind us. Hoping to get it out this week, to be honest, but it's probably not going to happen. I'll talk to Peter. We may send one out sans art so everybody can see that it's actually done. But now we've changed it. It's the Castle Keeper's Guide for Amazing Adventures, so that it lines up with.
It's going to be interesting though next year when we say, "Hey, what about this such in the CKG?" and we're all going to be like, "Oh, which one?"
The AA CKG or the CC CKG.
Maybe we'll have CKG Prime and then CKG.
There you go. Now you're talking. That's thinking out of the box right there.
All right,
and I got to get Jason on top of that wiki page. For those of you who don't know,
that's right.
I have been diligently working on the Troll wiki page. You can link it from the home page on troller.com. Just hit newsletter and roll down. And you can see what I have been plumping in there for Castles and Crusades. I will do a whole lot of work on Troll Lord late tonight and tomorrow to kind of brush it up. So
we're getting
just
there. I think it'll end up being a great thing for us to have. It's going to build on it. It'll be fantastic.
I think so. We got a lot of people that come over looking for stuff, and this will just have. And the Wikipedia pages are just utterly useless. I think it has something about. We did a second print or fourth printing in 2008. That's the last time it's ever been updated.
Right. And we'll have control over it too. We won't have to worry about, trolls. Get it? What I did there?
Yeah. George asks, any estimate how long after the Kickstarter the PDFs for Reforged will be available? It won't be very long. So the player's handbook is about 95% done. We've got some page count issues that we've got to work through. The CKG, there's the CKG is staying as is. What we're doing now is combing through it for spell name changes, monster name changes, and very small things like that. We've cleaned out 2 chapters already. Most of the chapters don't have any of that stuff in it. So the CKG it too is about 95% done. The Monsters and Treasures is the biggest one. We've got, Jeremy would have to tell us, I think we got 4 or 5 artists hammering away on the art there. The treasure section is finished. It'll need a tight edit on it. So I'm hoping that by the time the Kickstarter closes, we're able to say the PHB and the CKG are done. We'll let everyone kind of parse through them for a couple of weeks before we send them to the printers. But it is not going to take very long. Not very long at all.
Okay,
I need to
so
know.
so we have a couple questions in here that you got. I don't want to throw back at you here. They're
Well, let's
about
take them
they're,
3 at a
they're
time.
about VTTs. So we'll start off with the first one from DM John. He's a big Fantasy Grounds guy. Will we get VT maps files for the Hermit? As long as Steve's not opposed to it, I don't think I don't think that has 80,000 maps in it. So that's probably not a very hard. Yeah, so that's something we can definitely do if Steve's aboard on that one. The other 2 questions were about an update for CNC for Foundry. I'm having a meeting with some people next week about that, guys. We're going to be shifting a little bit how we've been doing our development of it. The biggest holdup is just having a team that is, I shouldn't say will, but is able to stick together long enough to get things out. That's always been the problem with any of the virtual tabletop stuff. It's all volunteer work, and people get busy, and that's the problem with it. It probably will always be something that will never be like putting out books. Books are a completely different thing. That's what we do. That's our lifeblood. This is something we do extra to try to help our fans out when we can, where we can. There's no money in it for us. We don't make any profit. It's really just, we try to cover our costs, of course, but it's just not a huge amount of income, I guess you would say, to warrant having a
whether it is or not, we don't have the crew in place
We don't
to
have it.
constantly churn VTT out. Like we'd love to be able to get this stuff out on all platforms and every which direction, but we don't have the crew.
But I definitely want to try to put maps and stuff up when we can of smaller titles, like he said there. That's easy. 5 maps, no problem. The Undying War was a bit of a challenge.
Now, if we go Kent's way and do 1-room dungeons, 34,000 words for a 1-room dungeon. Yeah, I actually complained to him last year about it. I was like, you can't do it like that. That's not how that works. And he goes, no, just describe the pencil. And I'm like, no one wants a description. And he goes, no, write a love letter between 2 people. I'm like, all right.
Davis, you'll be glad to know that in The Hermit, written by Gary Gygax, the Hermit's hut is like 10 pages of that adventure. It's just the 1 room.
That's true.
So if Gary can do it, we can do it.
Okay. The challenge.
Hey, Matt, email me here if you're interested. Maybe we can see if we can find something for you to help with. That would be wonderful. And the bot's down again, I see, since I've... Hold on just a second.
Matthew, reach out. Matthew says I can help with Foundry. Reach out to Chuck.
Let me just click a button here to turn this on because it likes to shut off all the time. Hey, amazing.
Gary describes which way the Hermit paper hangs. Chuck broke the bot. Disembodied Chuck voice. Yes. But it's one of the things I think. And Davis is making fun of me, but let me make fun of him a little bit.
No.
When he wrote G-Bog, which is like, I think 4th adventure we wrote for the company, maybe 5th, I don't know, something like that.
It's
so G-Bog has a dungeon in it. It's one of the best, most masterful dungeons we've ever done. It's got 9 rooms or 12 rooms, and every room is interesting in and of itself. It is just cool. So you don't get, you don't have 914 rooms that you gotta, nothing in this room. I go into this room, nothing in that room. What is in this room? Nothing is in that room. What is in this room? Nothing is in that room. It's an interesting dungeon. So Davis actually has the skill to do that.
I just don't do it. No. I think I might pull that out again and try to come up with something. I'm looking for a file right now. Excuse me if I'm blinking and stuff and rubbing. I think I just got some tiger balm in my eye.
At least you didn't cut a finger off. So
That's right. Hey, another day's passed with no wounding in the body.
the day's young yet. So
Yeah, it stings. Fuck.
Lando, I see your comment. Might know someone that can hire to manage it. We don't need someone to manage the property. We need someone to actually put in the code work. You know, that's
Oh yeah,
And bring us money to pay them to do it too. That's another top thing we like.
it's expensive and time consuming and takes specific skills. Though I don't know, is AI to the point where it can start
God.
coding PPT? I don't know.
It can code itself. Yeah, I think it can do everything.
There you have it, folks. TLG brings down the Terminator. Fantastic. Great.
Oh yeah, Abstract's going to be a nightmare, Jeremy, because it's not going to be a 12-room dungeon.
No.
It's going to be a 3,000-room dungeon. I have no idea. But I will say this: in the second five levels that I have written, I don't describe every room. I leave whole sections for the CK to flesh out. This is kind of what's going on here. Go and make your own dungeon.
I have a suggestion.
Are you going to say, "Hey, I should write it"?
No. I'm saying just use this exact same template for every level, the same rooms and everything. Screw it. That'll solve it right there.
It was lawful evil, right? They just wanted it.
Yeah, exactly. No chaos.
Boom, boom, boom.
George
Mega
wants to
Dungeons are
die.
interesting, but I don't know. It's after a while, I think it becomes a little bit tougher, and that's why each level in Abstract is going to be very different than the other level.
Well, Wolf Alone's got an important question for you about that.
Wait. I did just spend 3,000 words describing 30 feet of a hallway.
There you go. Perfect.
Intricate detail.
Right. These levels are to the
There's some
left.
detail in there.
Wolf Alone says, "Will it fall to Stephen's grandchildren or great grandchildren to finish Abstract?" Well, I may have to just pull a Chuck and make everything the same.
Well, either that or you've got a secret legacy coming that they don't know about.
Yeah, something. I did actually work on Abstract last week. I actually wrote a couple thousand words on the Aries, not on the level I'm supposed to be working on, but on yeah. There you go.
None of the bots are working. Wow. I went there and checked. It's turned on, so I have no clue what's going on with it.
Hey, I have a piece of advice for everyone.
What's that?
Do not take Tiger Balm and rub on a sore eyelid.
I don't even know what Tiger Bomb. What is Tiger Bomb? What is that?
It's like a muscle thing, like icy hot.
Oh well, no, I probably wouldn't put icy hot on my eyes either. That's probably not advised. I'm sure somewhere on the box it probably says that.
So there was this comedy show from years back called Kids in the Hall. Great Canadian show. And there's an episode in it, Davis, where they're sitting in their apartment. All these guys are sitting in the apartment, and I don't know what they're doing. I can't remember much about it. But one of them turns to one of the other characters and says, "Do not put salt in your eye." And he goes, and he pours the salt in his eye. He goes, "Oh, it burns, it burns." And the whole skit is about him just constantly putting salt in his eye. Kids in the Hall was fantastic. Yes, it was a great.
DM John asks, any idea on a timeline for the CZ actually adventure areas for Kickstarter?
No, what?
Timeline for season Castle Zagging.
Oh, Castle Zagging?
He said for the Castle Zagging actual adventure areas for Kickstarter. I'm not sure.
The dungeon areas, I assume, is what he's talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, so the current plan is, and we're still waiting a little bit of info. We should have it by the 10th, a little bit on launch day. We're waiting a little bit of info from those folks, but right now we are planning on doing a fourth quarter Kickstarter for the Upper Works, which will be the Mouths of Madness, level 1 of the dungeon, and the castle itself this year, and in second quarter next year will be the next wedge of dungeons after that. So it's not going to be long. We're talking, and we hope that within a year that you guys are really looking at a lot of this stuff, at least a third of it on your desks, and you can start playing into it, if not more than that. So yeah, we have a timeline built in. We're waiting for one last little thing from the court, and hopefully we'll have that all squared away on Tuesday.
Yeah, we were hoping it would be in May, but they just haven't.
Yeah, I think all across the Union, courts are jam-packed with whatever's going on in our great country. But Whatever it is, this is the hand you're dealt. You got to play it. So,
Yeah, hopefully it's cleared out soon because I think the court's going to be jam packed here in about 6 months.
I think it's going to be jam packed with the number of parking tickets that you've got.
Parking tickets and now I got anyway tolls.
Yeah. Oh, you got them hunting you now too. There you go. The wheels of justice.
Hey, I do have a question though. So, like, if you don't pay a toll, for those of you who are in like the land where the government tries to take every nickel and dime that you've ever earned,
Oh, you mean here? Oh,
if you don't pay a toll, does it,
Davis, while you're contemplating that, Cooperative Waffles says don't use Tiger Balm for hemorrhoid cream either.
oh my God.
Words to live by. On the Ask Me Anything. At any rate,
anyway.
yeah, so the Kickstarter launches on Monday, the 10th. This is going to be for the core books, the Player's Handbook, CKG, and the M&T, and Crusader 28. I think that's the issue that we're on. We're already hard at work on that. I think that you guys showed the cover last Thursday in the stream, which was really cool. So, yeah, I'm very excited about this Kickstarter. Very...
Abracadabra. You can see his back, bro.
It's gonna be good stuff. Good stuff on Monday. Hey, put that link up for the sign up. We've got well over 4,000 people signed up to get their free copy of the Player's Handbook and to back the Kickstarter.
There you go.
Yeah, head over there and click that. You want some UK shipping for that, guys? Yes, we do, Alan. Absolutely, absolutely. Oh, Lord, I forgot to get Steve that information.
That's a good thing. No one's worried about the Kickstarter then. Excellent. All right, moving on.
No, it wasn't about the Kickstarter. This had nothing to do with the Kickstarter whatsoever.
Oh, damn it.
Steve asked me for some info. Alan, for those of you who don't know, Alan is with GMS Distributions out of the UK. They're handling all of our distribution in the UK right now. And if you are overseas, obviously not overseas from where Alan is, but overseas from where we are, and you want to order something, go to their website, and they'll give you much better shipping rates than you can get from the United States. So definitely check that out. And Steve is his partner in crime, who asked me about 10 days ago for some information, and I still have utterly failed to get it to him. I will work on that. I will endeavor to get that to him in the next day or so, Alan. I swear to goodness. Sparky says the secret is the demand to be put on Steve's list. If you get on Steve's list, your needs are met. Yeah, I'm not sure about that.
No, he's not entirely wrong about that. You get some.
I think that, yeah. Oh, crap. Jeremy asked me to do something. I didn't do that either.
Oh, my God. It's out of control.
Damn it.
That's all right. That's all right, Ken. The government asks me to do something every day, and I don't do it.
You know, just one thing. We won't go down that road, but I do like the fact that our government here governs very poorly. It's good for freedom.
Oh, I didn't even tell you what's been going on.
Our freedoms aren't intentional; they're accidental because you're so lazy and dumb.
Right.
I got pulled over 2 months ago because my tags were out. And I said, "Officer, I ordered the tags in February. Did you know, right before I left on that trip, 2 weeks ago, I ended up having to go to the DMV, and I went up to the DMV, and they would not let me get tags. They said, well, you have to take that up with Richmond. I said, well, I'm driving around illegally. Is that okay? It is not. So what do you suggest we do with this impasse? I've paid. I have a receipt, and I've showed it. I started to show it every time I got pulled over, and they, and it's pretty funny too, because I just say, once I start to explain, they immediately go, oh, well, it's the government. Don't worry about it. I'm like, yeah, So what I ended up having to do was actually get new plates for free that have the handicap sticker on them, the sign on them. Then they were able to issue me new plate stickers that I could put on my plates after like 6 months. So good game.
The joy.
Do you remember Dakota's story about that?
Yeah.
He hadn't registered his truck in like 5 years.
Oh my God. He's like my wife.
So he went down to get tags for it. And he'd never been pulled over or anything. And they're like, well, the fine's pretty big. And he's like, well, I can't pay that. And they're like, what? Well, why don't you just get a new license plate? It's only $20.
Yeah, that's exactly right, man. It's weird. It's like, okay, whatever.
Okay.
What did the guy say? We don't know what's going out the front door, much less the back door or something like that. So, yeah. And let's see. So Cooperative Waffle says free handbook. Yes, if you sign up for the newsletter that's going to announce the Kickstarter. So if you just all you have to do is sign up. I believe Sunday we are going to send out. It might be Saturday. I can't remember which. We are going to send to everybody a free PDF of the Player's Handbook 10th printing.
Yep.
It will not be 100% done. I'm going to promise you that right now. And there will still be some stuff done that we do to it, but you will have the book.
And the thing about it is, when we send it out, I'm not sure where we'll do it through for this. We may just put it on the store. I don't know where we'll put it, but wherever you get it from, you'll be able to keep it even after it's updated. It's not like it's a one-shot thing out there, and we're gonna, whatever.
Yeah. So definitely sign up for that Kickstarter.
Yes.
There's a catch though. We remove every other word.
That's right.
So what's new? What's new again? I'm not sure.
We're going to remove the consonants.
We're removing all the consonants.
Oh, you're one of those guys. I see.
You know, though, what would be cool, though?
Consonant
I bet
hater.
you could remove every vowel in the book, every single vowel, take them out, and anyone would be able to read it. No problem.
Probably.
I still like the greatest American, if not the greatest human that's ever lived, and I can't remember his name now. But he wrote his autobiography, and they criticized him for it because it wasn't punctuated correctly. So he did a second version of it, and he put in the last 2 pages are just exclamation marks, periods, and question marks, commas, and semicolons. He said, "Here's your punctuation. Put it wherever you want." We gotta get that guy Dexter or something.
That's pretty good.
Hey,
I could do
I
that.
meant to ask him.
Timothy Dexter, the
Hey,
greatest man that ever lived.
Did you get a Dr. Pepper? There was like a battle earlier between Lando
Yes,
and
yes.
Sparky. Okay, I just checking. It got
Thank
pretty
you,
nasty.
Tim.
It got nasty in there. They were coming at each other. Lando was threatening fireballs, I think. Anyway.
There you go. Sign up at the Trollord Games or Kickstarter. Yes, Chuck, put that link back up if you could. Please follow
Yeah,
this
right
link,
here you
and
go, guys. It's right buried in the middle of that gobbledygook. It says "sign up here." So
Yeah, what is all that gobbledygook?
something
Anyways,
you wrote,
yeah, so
not me.
That's a lot of stuff.
that's a lot of stuff.
No one can read that.
It should say "Free Players Handbook." Get rid of that all of that white text. Just leave the bit there.
Well, what if
Get
you're on
rid of
night?
all the
What do you mean white text? What if we were on like a nighttime viewer where everything's reversed in color? Now you're really getting a look at us. Now we're messed up.
Look, just get rid of all the text, and you're good.
Well, I do think that for Davis, because he's been so
I'm gonna change it for the series.
passionate about color lately, that we're going to make brown the official company color.
Well, that's funny.
I've been posting pictures of lycanthropes in the art discussion group, and Davis has been objecting to their brown fur and brown and black coloring, and he keeps sending pictures of very colorful snakes and birds, or whatever.
It's really amazing to me though how many pieces of art do have a lot of dark or greens and browns. It's
Yeah, no, you're not, and he's not wrong, to be honest. And the
I'm not
problem is
criticized. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
That's when we started talking. I was
problem
like,
is
dang.
that
Yeah.
the way the printer works these days, everything is a little bit darker than the artist intends. So when you go too dark on stuff, it kind of blots out. So
Yeah, you have to notch up the color just a little bit.
just a little bit. Well, that one you messed with the other day popped real good.
Yeah.
The dwarf from Erd.
Yeah, because from the artisan, they don't know. They don't know. Some of them do. Some of them don't. Some of them just don't worry about the printing side of it, and that's not their concern to begin with. But we have to worry about that. So
Yes, we definitely do. Okay, Cooperative Waffle. So go to www.trollord.com. Scroll down just a little bit. You'll see in the news section, you're going to see this guy at a forge hammering something or the other. Underneath that is a link. Click that link. It'll take you to a sign-up page and sign up there, and you will be golden. All you got to do is sign up, and Chuck or me or somebody will send that player's handbook out. Saturday, Sunday, I'm not sure when we'll do. Something like that. Good deal, Matthew. Black prints worse than brown. Yes, it does. It works. Black really prints bad. There's
black should probably never. That's like the hair in all those comic books, like Conan's hair is blue. It's not
Yeah.
black. It's blue.
Yeah. so it'll pop. Yeah, if you look in RMNT, I can't. It's the great ape, and then some dog. I can't remember which dog it is. They're just blotches on the paper. I mean, you can't make hardly anything out.
All right, here's a good opinion. How's this? This look a little better now that this is for the, like I can just do a command. There's what it says now.
Much better. Much better.
Yeah, I don't like that
Much
link
better.
being buried. I pulled that from some ad copy. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, brevity is always a good thing, especially on the internet today, because it is a one giant pop up, whatever, whatever's going on out there. It's one reason I'm so happy with the wiki pages that we've been working on, because there's no pop ups, there's no nothing. We're not going to ask you for any donations. There's any of that shit. You just go to the Troll Lord wiki, and here in the next month or so, I made tremendous progress on CNC, and I'll make equal progress on Troll Lord games. Jason's going to have to do Amazing Adventures, but Davis will have to do Isaiah. But we'll have lots of information there. Lots of it.
I think the internet has passed its prime.
I think it's evolved into something else.
It's evolved into.
I think so.
This isn't mine. This is my daughter's. But all it is advertisements. It's like 99.9% advertisements. That's it. That's where they get their money.
The internet was a terrible idea as a whole.
As a whole, bad idea.
That didn't work like we wanted it to.
But there was a while there where the internet was really, really cool. And I don't know, but now I can't get on anything without just advertisement after advertisement.
I would say in the last 2 or 3 years is when the ads became like just nuts, and I won't use it. I've quit using almost any site. I just go to my library and pull a book off of a shelf. It takes longer to look at it up my dictionary or whatever, but I don't want to watch. I don't want to scroll. I don't want to have to deal with any of it. It's just
for the first time in years, I've wished I was near like an actual real research library, like U of A or something like that, so that I could go do research. Because I think I could do the research quicker at a library now than I can.
Yeah, and the thing that bugs me the most about the internet, I think, is you say, I want to know what the sworn book of Honorius is, and you type this in, and the first 10 entries are the same entry.
Yeah.
It's just been copied and pasted a dozen times, and whoever's whatever search engine or however it works.
Or you get sponsored by Amazon.
Exactly. Yeah, well, that's the first thing is, well, why don't you just buy it, you dumbass?
Yeah.
I don't want to tell you what it is, just go buy it. I don't know.
But here's an influencer selling it.
Yeah, exactly. They have argued renaming them so many times. Blah, blah, blah. Let's see. Physical media is the way to go. Can't be self-edited by bad actors. That's right. Wolf Alone's spot on, and that is one of the primary reasons we are bringing the Crusader back. I mean, it's going to be a magazine that you guys can get in PDF and print format, and we can go back to. I don't know. It's just a little bit frustrating. It's like when, I don't know if you guys remember, Davis, I don't know if you did this very much. I certainly did. Before YouTube was a thing, there were sites like eBaum's World that just posted videos, and it was sort of like the Wild West. You got all kinds of content, and it wasn't porn videos. It was just all kinds of just stuff that people were doing. It was really, really cool. And YouTube in the early days was all right, but now it's just, when I open up my YouTube, it's just some movies, advertisements, and I don't know what's what. So I'm clicking ads all the time, and I'm like, I'm done. I'm out. So,
No, I would say it's less enjoyable now than it once was. Now I've got my music feeds, so that's good. Of course, I just screwed it up by listening to Eminem, so it's going to be popping up.
It's all done now.
Yeah.
George asks, will Crusader 1 through 27 be available as POD in the future? Probably not. We're probably going to do the whatever you call them, the omnibuses. What, Davis?
Oh, yeah. Kent and I are discussing that
Compendium.
right now. So I was going to have an argument with them online. I want to do them as omnibuses, like Kent said, where we do, I think it would be at least 2 volumes.
Yeah, we've done issues 1 through 25 or 24 as omnibuses already. We could print those today because they're already done and laid out. We used to do that. But just doing each issue, setting up POD means we got to go into whatever POD printer is going to do it and set up all of their files. I'm not interested in that. Though I'll say, DigiPod might actually be able to do that.
I wonder what about DTRPG? If you have to redo
They're
it.
the worst. We've tried that. Tim and I tried that before. You've got to set up every. They actually use I don't know what they use, but you got to set the covers up different and the layout different, which means we'd have to redo all kinds of stuff. And I don't. We don't have time for that. But Digipod might actually be able to knock them out.
Yeah.
Fairly quickly. So that may be a thing, but I think we're leaning towards the omnibuses. I think that would be the route to go. Because we definitely have to go in and put second printing, third print, whatever on these, so people know that they have the original ones or the ones that came out in 2024. The problem with the omnibuses, George, is, and I'm not a fan of that format, is it's hard to read. It's so hugely thick. It's just difficult to read. All right, Chuck, we got any more questions floating around?
Yes, listening to Eminem.
Is there a Trollord Games account on Rumble? I do not. What is Rumble? Chuck, what is that?
It's like Tumble. It's Tumble for bumblebees.
Chuck, we can't hear you. Do you?
Tumblr.
Oh, I'm muted. I'm so sorry. So it's basically like it's sort of like YouTube, but more open. That's like non-Google. You'd love that, of course. Yeah, it's like a freewheeling version of YouTube.
I love
Exactly.
Sparky's description. Rumble is like YouTube, but not YouTube.
Well, it's a lot more open-ended for people to use and stuff. There's not.
I think I went on that once last year. I think this conversation may.
Yeah, Wild West YouTube, like Kothar said. There's no law, no rule. It's the wasteland.
Hey, I probably
Witness
would love
me.
it.
Yeah, you would love it.
I don't like corporate overlords.
Yeah, it would be cool. Okay, so I just pulled up Rumble. I wonder if I could do music feeds on this. Yes, already.
Oh, that's interesting. Playing some games, I didn't know that. Well, of course, I've not fooled with Rumble in years when it first came out with it. But it says you can sync it. I mean, I like the backup that they've got, but you can never have enough backups of files. I'm sorry, I'm a big believer of that.
Well, the thing is that everyone is finding their comfortable place on the internet, whether it's Twitter or Rumble or YouTube or whatever. It's good to be. It's challenging for a company like Troller Games to be everywhere, but Grace is doing a fantastic job getting us everywhere. It's just a good idea.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine though. Like, so YouTube. The problem with like YouTube, Telegram, a few other like places that are, let's just say, not censored.
Yeah.
They almost have to be censored because if you remember, and I know you can still go to certain places on the internet and find this if you go looking, but you have to go looking. The first years of the internet, I would say the early 2000s, because I remember specifically an event that occurred that there were some crazy.
It was bad. It was bad. I remember it was very bad. A couple of videos I remember to this day that I wish I'd never watched.
Yes, I can remember a few videos in the early 2000s that I watched, and I was like, because I can still remember to this day. Yeah,
I could have done it now.
Like, nope.
Wolf Alone says, and he just sold me on Rumble. He says it's not as heavily censored and repressed as YouTube, but you do have to wade through a lot of batshit crazy. I love batshit crazy.
That's what. That was the good side of the early YouTube, was that there was a lot of just insane.
My fingers are bananas. That's one of my favorite songs. And German kids made this song called "My Fingers Are Bananas." Absolutely hilarious. Milk and Cereal, great song. I mean, there was some great stuff in the early days.
So I figured what's happening is, well, what I hope is happening is that each new iteration or each iteration of our generations, each generation comes up with that new space. So before TikTok, there was Vine, but TikTok took over Vine. And
then, Vine died before TikTok. I'm not really sure why Vine died. I used to go to Vine. It was funny as shit. I'm not sure what, probably financial trouble or whatever.
I have no idea what it is. But I'm hoping that each new generation, someone in that generation will create that new venue through which we can come. And now I'm desperately looking for that new place to go see stuff,
Yeah. I have a sneaking suspicion that it's already there. We just don't know about it.
Yes. They're keeping it secret. Gen Z's keeping it secret.
All right, so
right. We're not letting those Gen X's and Boomers in there.
I'm a realist back in for a moment into what we do best, which is make fantasy games. So Torlock's Frank, you sent me the message. I did see it come across my thing, but I was going to suggest that we ask Steve on an AMA, and look what's happening. Here we are. It's fate. So, could you please explain to Torlock 72 and any others that might want to listen? Let's talk about Heth. What can you tell us about Heth, the god?
Well, spelled backwards, it's A-T-E.
Jesus.
Heth is the crow god. Heth is the god of the dead. He dwells upon the river of time, and he is the one that judges souls after you die. You go to the river of time. He determines where you are going to go. He is one of those entities that do it. He is the main entity that does that. Does that answer your question?
Probably. He was probably looking for more information about where to go. But my thought was, outside of the Codex of Erd, where else can you go for information on him?
So there's a little bit of Heth. There's a little bit of information on Heth in the C series. He pops up a little bit in there, but I'm not the god. It's the gods and monsters of Erd where this stuff is going to really pop. Now, I'll also say,
he's not in the Codex. He's in the Codex.
He's definitely in the Codex of Erd. If you've already got the Codex of Erd, Heth is definitely in there. His holy symbol, his holy days, all of that stuff. But he's definitely in that. But he pops up in the fiction that I wrote, the Uric and Ava, the Dunhollow Pools fiction.
Does he?
A little bit, and he's in the C series because he
dwells
actually in the Darkenfall.
I need to try to get those on Kindle so I can read them.
Yeah, this is good for you. And I'm about a third of the way through the Dunhollow Pools novel. I barreled through a lot of that. Grace did a reading of it last night, actually. Had a nice twist in it.
I need to get in there and start reading. I'm trying to finish up the Burroughs Mars series. I've had a hankering to read that here lately. So when I finish it, I want to roll back into the Erd again and get strong in it again.
Yeah, I'm enjoying watching. I'm enjoying reading or writing this novel. Actually, it's been a lot of fun.
Hey, Kent.
Yeah.
Okay, so wait, what does Heth do?
Heth is the judgment. He judges the souls, whether you're evil or good or neutral or nothing.
Okay.
Most people don't. Most people in Erd don't actually make a mark, so they just go to the endless pools. And if you're evil, you go.
Sorry.
Yeah, if you're evil, you go to the wretched plains, and if you're good, you go to the stone fields.
So Torlock plays in the Sunday morning game on here, and he made some kind of deal with him. That's why he's asking.
Nice, very good.
Weird.
It's funny, Torlock, because Mac Golden, co-creator of Castles of Shades, who's played in my game forever and a day, his patron deity is Heth, and he's made several. His character Kai has made several deals with Heth that have worked out to his favor tremendously. So
really, we need to get some of that down on paper. That's some cool shit, man.
Yeah. You know? It's really cool. When we weave the mythology into the table game, and Mac and Chris are the masters of doing that.
Oh yeah.
Todd will do a little bit, but Mac really he'll go study the mythology a little bit and figure out who can serve him best or who he can manipulate. And Mac's really good he knows me really, really well. So he's really good at kind of steering the way.
It would be cool. It would be cool to get somehow have I know we'd have to recreate it, but it'd be kind of nice to kind of have some sort of recreation of how Erd unfolded on the table before it was.
It would be very, very cool.
Before it was planned, I mean, because it never was really planned, right? So that makes it another distinctive setting out there. You've got Erd from the table, and then Inzea from Madness. But anyway,
more planned than played, but Inzea is definitely more planned than played.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Erd was, we played into Erd for a while, and then I had to sit down and write it to put it into some kind of cohesive form. But the first time I actually wrote it was for Troll again.
Yeah, no,
I had to look up my crow god real quick. I have a crow god. Yeah, its name is Otani. It could see so well; it could see into the future and see into the past.
Oh, that's very cool. That is very, very good.
It was very farsighted. Then he gets killed.
Of course he does. Yeah, this is Walmart.
The effect of his getting killed is that no one could predict the future or predict the past or understand the past.
That's actually very cool.
Yeah, that's the long-term effect of his death.
That's why was very farsighted, but he didn't see that coming.
Well, okay, so what prevented him from seeing that coming, actually, because there's a story behind that too. Because he can fly anywhere. He got the first feather from the dragon. The dragon traded the first feather, gave it to Otani. Otani could fly anywhere. Otani fly too close to the maelstrom, and she was blinded for a little while. so she couldn't see her face.
Oh, there you go. See, now that, Davis, as opposed to you writing a Codex of Air type thing for Inzea, I would rather you write all of these little stories down first.
Yeah, I
I
could.
think those would be cool, and then we build into it. Let's see, when will we be able to get the new books? We're hoping by August that they're in print no later than September. These are books that are critical to TLG's, everything that we do.
Yeah.
And so having them out of print is not really an option. And that's why we've been working so hard on them. The M&T is going to be the hardest to get done by August, but I'm confident that we can get it done. The PHB and the CKG should not be an issue. We do once we're done with them, we're going to let everybody, we're going to get everyone who backs the Kickstarter and some other groups going to sit down and say, hey, come over this stuff, look for things that may be a problem. And then we can fix those before we go to print. But summer's a good time to print for us. The printers got very little to do, very little jobs. So we'll have room, and they'll probably get them back in 3 to 4 weeks. So now we're pretty excited about it.
Torlock said, "Thanks for the information. Ashton Blackmore is my ranger who's looking to become a warden of Heth, which is pretty cool."
Yep. That's sort of what Mac's character Kai did. He's sort of he's the 15th level at this point, so he's sort of an avatar for Heth. But he served the god for a sacrifice. He would get a magic item. Mac would get a magic item and immediately sacrifice it on an altar to Heth. So he went for levels and levels without any magic items because he just
cool.
gave it to the god. Yeah. Yeah. Mac plays to win.
Malaki's got a question about the books too. He says, "Will the Kickstarter for the new books have an option for just getting one or two?"
Yes, absolutely. We're going to have it set up. You can get the player's handbook, or you can get the player's handbook and the monsters and treasures, or you can get all three.
It's like we did the GFW stuff,
Yeah, and the third option will come with the Crusader, and then there will be a collector's option, and there may be another option in there too. We're kind of looking at some other stuff. Davis has been pouring through old files for weeks now, trying to piece together some of the stuff he's done. And there's a whole bunch of material that we.
It's been a very unproductive few weeks, but I find a lot of cool stuff.
It is productive because a lot of these books, you like the Pestilence you sent over, we'd already published it, but it's long since fallen off the roster. So these things need to be pulled out, and at least in PDF, put up on a store. So there may be another level in it, but you will definitely be able to buy it singly without a doubt. And Yosemite Mike says, "I didn't realize that Castles and States has been around that long." Yes, we are celebrating our 20th year this year, and TLG's been around for 25 years, so it has been a wild ride. And honestly, Yosemite, I wouldn't have thought it'd been around 20 years either.
And just think of this too: between Chuck, Kent, and I, there's 975 years of life.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, and David,
there's 975 years of bad decisions.
this is kind of sad. So on the wiki pages, I got to put the history of Troll Lord Games in there. So I knew I had written some of this stuff for the blog years ago. So I went into the blog today, and Chuck, that's what that search function thing was about. I went into the blog to find what I had written, and I wrote 8 fairly decent 5, 6, 8 paragraph blog posts about the early history of TLG, but and there were 8 of them, 8 of these posts. So it's probably, 10,000 words, 15,000 words. All of it was about the first 3 or 4 months of TLG's existence. I mean, it was detailed. It was crazy, but then I stopped. I wish I had kept writing that, because then we would have this really great history, of the company done.
What was that? What did you stop at, like in 1972 or what? When did you start with
it? I stopped in the year 2000.
Oh Christ! Okay, yeah. Well,
I didn't even make it a year's history, and it was.
You got to catch up, Smokey. You got to get in there.
Got to get to work.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm going to do? And this is, man. So I've got it out there. I posted a picture of it on the blog. You can see it. And there's a orange box that has all of the receipts from every year from the year 1999 to the current year, to 2023. And it's got everything that we've done, at least in receipts. So I'm hoping that if I get into those physical files, it'll trigger memories about what we were doing this year and that year. You know what I mean? And I could write a more detailed history.
Oh yeah.
But that's a lot of.
And you know something? I know this will sound crazy,
Manfred,
but I want to.
Manfred, I want to address Manfred. We could do a year 25-25, and call it Ziegler and Evans.
I was really trying to avoid that. I knew it was coming. He forced it through, folks. So Yosemite Mike has a good point. I just thought about something. When we go back and you start working on that some more, we probably need to include this a little bit in here about how we often we're called the father of or the mother of OSR and all this. We were pre OSR technically.
Yes.
So it's kind of we're in a weird spot, but I think that would be interesting information to let folks know.
We are the fountainhead. We are the champions. No.
I like Yosemite here. He said, "So what do you call OSR when it's been around long enough to just OS?"
Right. No, he's not wrong. That's what I was just thinking about that.
No, we definitely were out. A lot of the people who went on to kind of start the OSR movement, Matt Finch comes to mind. They actually were play testers for Castles and Crusades, and they left CNC for whatever reason, and then went out on their own. So a lot of those guys were part of what we were doing. We were by far, definitely the very first game company to create a role-playing game separate and apart from Dungeons and Dragons using the OGL and the SRD.
That's for sure.
So we are not OSR. We're pre-OSR. We are Castles and Crusades. That's what it is.
That's right. And really, we were just
and
building our own game.
It has been something that we have pushed. Davis and I have made sure anyone that comes on board or anyone who's helping us out is to not use that OSR label with us.
Like drive-through. It just
It's not-
gnaws
yeah,
at
exactly.
me.
And it's not like it's an offensive label or anything.
It's
No,
not.
not at all.
Don't get it wrong. But we
But
don't
right.
like technically fall within the OSR thing. And I think a lot of OSR people would agree that to put Castle and Crusades in the OSR movement would be wrong.
Well,
I think I've seen. Yeah, no, you're
And
right.
they're right to do so.
I know it's not exact, but there is a huge amount of OSR companies that are D6 Beckney based, and that causes a lot of confusion too.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some others out there like Labyrinth World and them that do AD&D and that kind of thing. But you see what I'm saying? It's
Yeah. No, it's interesting. So, but yeah, that's a good point. I'll actually make sure I put that into the wiki to make sure, put a little side note to make sure people, and like David said, absolutely nothing against the OSR movement.
no,
OSR
not at
people,
all. We want people to
It's
feel like
all
it's
great.
old school because it is old school,
but we definitely came before that.
and that's
The
true.
There's
OSR
a
can't even
there's a
agree
lot
on
of
what
good
OSR
OSR
actually
products.
is.
A lot of good OSR products.
Yeah.
A lot.
Absolutely.
So.
Well, I mean, I don't know. You could almost say, even though it's new, Kelsey's game's OSR. It's Beckme. I mean, you can go on and on down that rabbit hole if you wanted to.
The OSR can't even agree what OSR stands for. There's the problem with old school ramblings. Well, there's sort of the problem with like when you're trying to like put everything in like a little medicine bottle and say it's this, it's this, it's that. And it's really not, because you've got a massive spectrum of
Right.
like manners of gaming and types of gaming and stuff that's going on.
Well, and it's even worse than that, Davis, because and I can't speak for everyone out there that's Davis and I's and Chuck's age. So Davis started running me in games in '75, and he used the little brown books. But when and I remember very specifically when the Monster Manual came out, he was using the little brown books and the Monster Manual.
Yeah.
In the PHB, or I think one of the box sets came out, but whatever. You were using all of this stuff kind of in your own hybrid, whatever the fuck you were doing.
Which is what.
So what part is old school? What part is AD&D? What part is...
Yeah. Do you remember though too that it was combining more than that? Because
Oh my God, man! I was buying RuneScape. Anything I could find, I would buy and bring.
well, no, it's not even that. It's that chit-based game, Sword and Sorcery.
Swords and Sorcery, Vikings, and...
Because we were using chits, creating these armies and fighting, and then I was taking, if you remember that Lord of the Rings SPI game,
Yes.
the board game.
Yeah.
I would make you use the Frodo card and other cards to track your hit points and stuff on. Like you make little boxes and stuff like that.
That's crazy.
So we were at that time just throwing everything together that we had.
And I think that's
And
why.
by we mean Davis. I wasn't doing. I was just doing what Davis.
Honestly, I have a theory about this. I was telling Davis about this one day. So Davis, and Steve, most people well know, basic civilizations all have key components that are comparable. Like if you look at Egypt versus South America or whatever, right? Architecture, blah blah blah. So look at gaming. And I live days from where you guys are. Never knew you guys or anything. I'm in my own little thing. We got our own poster board out. We took the Deities and Demigods, made our own world from it after using Greyhawk. And then there were times when we would be waiting for people to look stuff up, or we'd take breaks and read, or we'd get bored. So we invented our own game around the table, just like you guys did. And I see this more and more, these indicators from gamers and their groups in the old days, how they all had very similar evolvement in certain ways. It's interesting.
Yeah.
It really
Well,
is.
the fascinating thing about this. So this actually came up. Put a lot of thought into this the other day. Not the other day. A few weeks ago. I'm reading Twitter, and a guy's name is like D&D is a war game, right? And I'm like, well, of course it is. And then, but that's all I've got. And then I started thinking about it. Yeah, and I've brought this up before that D&D is a war game. Everything about it is a war game. Now it's like stretched that meaning significantly, or what it encompasses significantly, but it's still basically
If you
a war
boil it
game.
down, it's a war game.
It's a war game.
Yeah.
Well,
And
unless you play some of those adventures that some of the companies out on the West Coast that employ wizards do, and you get to play a college student getting a degree or something. I don't know.
Well,
I, I had to take a zinger at our good friends on the coast.
so George
Final
Phillips.
question from
Yeah.
today. I've forgotten, will the new core books have the AD&D homage covers? Yes, they will. We're constantly debating back and forth whether we want to do another set of covers.
Just for the Kickstarter.
Yeah, just for the Kickstarter. We've talked about it ad nauseum, but we haven't decided yet.
Yeah. More important.
And here's a good point. After 5e, any TTRPG where your character can actually die and not be rewarded just for showing up as OSR, you're making a joke, but for young players, AD&D is old school, right? I mean, that's 30 years, 40 years ago, whatever it was, 30 years ago.
A long
So,
time.
what is old school? I mean,
it's almost 50 years now, Kent.
I mean, technically,
It's a long
old school,
time.
old school technically would be like 73 or whatever. You know what I mean? When they were doing
well,
like,
At 50 years, it's archaeologically significant, right?
there you go.
So we're almost at 50 years. So it'd be 10, 20, 30, 40,
Oh, that's been a
41,
long
42, 43, 44, 45, 46 years. It's an artifact. It's an archaeological
it's an
artifact,
artifact.
a historical artifact.
Davis
Advanced
is gonna
Dungeons and Dragons.
date this shit. Like
Jay is
archaeologists
I
are.
am old school. That is very true. We are all old school.
Thanks, Malaki. Malaki's making us all feel good. Around the year I was born. Thanks a lot. That's
Yeah.
fantastic. Fantastic.
And I know that there are very specific nomenclature for each of these renditions of Dungeons and Dragons, but I never can keep them all straight.
Yeah.
So it's really there's that game, and then there's Castles and Crusades. All you need is CNC in your content. So
So Torlock, going to Niagara Falls, I've always wanted to go. So we need to find a reason so they'll pay me to come up and run games. We got to find a reason. I'd love to go to Niagara Falls. And run some-
sounds great. I was there about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I stopped in on my way to Maine.
Wait,
On
wait.
that-
You're 26 years old and you started with Advanced Dungeons and Dragons? That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people start late. AD&D's a
So
good game.
Savage Splendor says it best. Honestly, I fell in love with your system because you're the perfect sweet spot between 1E, 2E, and 3.0. And heroes still feel heroic, but not super powered like systems afterwards. Right.
Grace brings that up a lot in her when she's talking about CNC, and she did a video on how to play it. She brings that up a lot. That this really isn't, you can die in CNC pretty easy.
Yes. That's why
think-
with new players, I was talking to somebody sent me some questions over an email and said, what do you recommend for new players? I said, if they're new to the game, have session -1. They said, what's -1? I said, you teach them how to play. Then in 0, they make their characters and you kill them. Get it over with. Yeah, I mean, seriously, let them know that it's a thing, There is level drain. It's going to happen.
Yeah. You're going to die. All right. On that happy note, I think we're going to wrap this show up. On unhappy note, however you want to
I
do it.
started with 5e. Okay, but then
I want to thank everybody for coming out. Thank Davis for joining me today in today's yammering session.
Yeah.
That's about all I got. Thank you all for coming out. I will not be on Thursday, but I'm sure some of the crew will be on Thursday. And Chuck will be around tomorrow. Chuck, is that?
Yep.
For his world building.
All right,
I'll be
so the
streaming my
music-
game Saturday too. So
The music suggestion for today
Uh-oh.
is In the Year 2525, followed by Eminem's Houdini.
or
Beatles, the year 25. Anyways.
Yeah, look it up. You'll recognize it as soon as you put it.
I can hear it in my head. It's the Beatles, isn't it?
No, it's Zager and Evans. I don't know.
I know the song. I can hear it in my head.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, take it easy. We will see you later.
Just a second. I am not back to that screen yet.
Chuck's
Now
gonna
we'll
be
take
long.
everybody. You take it easy, everybody. We'll see you in the morning, maybe. Let me throw up our Twitch schedule just for those folks that
Oh,
don't
did
know.
mine go up, Malaki? I didn't even know it had gone up.
There you go,
Grace.
guys.
Grace tells me nothing.
Hey, thanks a lot for hanging out, everybody. We had a great crowd this evening on all platforms. Good to see you guys. Ta ta for now. Prozac!